It's the Thanksgiving weekend, and hopefully you're spending time with family and friends. But if not, please consider yourself a part of the Bad Crypto family, and we've got a special gift for you. We're excited to welcome a crypto chick to the show. Naomi Brockwell, known as Bitcoin Girl, will be joining us for an epic conversation on blockchain, freedom, and what Australians really think when we say,
"Put another shrimp on the barbie."
It's all the super peachy swell fun you'd expect from yet another show featuring the blockchain blockheads. That's us. Welcome to episode number 54 of the Bad Crypto Podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition.
Who's bad?
Travis, my friend, I am so stuffed with turkey and stuffing and twice baked potatoes and desserts and tryptophan, right?
Pumpkin pie, some pumpkin pie.
Yeah, for me, Thanksgiving's always in Chicago with my extended family. How about you?
You know what? Mine is always in Missouri. Butler, Missouri is where my family lives. That is where I grew up, in a small town of 4,100 people. I just want to say this year, Mr. Joel Com, I am very grateful for you. Thank you for being so awesome.
Well, ditto, my friend. This has been a great ride, and I think the best is yet to come. And, of course, we're thankful for all of you, our listeners from the Republic of Bad Cryptopia. We're glad you're here. Now we are heard in 171 countries around the world, and eventually we're going to get them all.
And they're all here listening to us talk about magical
internet money. Let's give a quick shout out to our show sponsor for this month. It's the Zilla app. By now, hopefully you guys have gone to zla.io/bad and pre-registered for the beta app, the Zilla app. This is the app that's going to allow you to peruse various ICOs, check them out on your smartphone, vote them up, vote them down, whatever you like, and where allowable by law, you'll be able to participate in purchasing some of these tokens with one little tap on your device. So go pre-register now for the limited Zilla beta app at zla.io/bad. And of course, as usual, we have mail.
Bad Crypto voicemail. You have one new message.
Hey Joel, hey Travis, this is Kevin from San Jose. Just finished listening to your Bitcoin Cash Explodifies episode, and got a question for you. Where does Bitcoin Cash get accepted? Because I know Bitcoin gets accepted some places, but what about Bitcoin Cash? Well, stay bad, guys.
Thanks for the call, Kevin. Love hearing from you and from anybody that wants to call the Bad Crypto hotline at 708-885-9030. And honestly, I'm not aware of anywhere that you can spend Bitcoin Cash yet. Are you, Travis?
The only place I know that you can spend Bitcoin Cash is on a cryptocurrency exchange to, sell it for Bitcoin.
Yeah, so there is. I mean, there's a lot of ways that you can spend Bitcoin now. There's a lot of merchants that take it, online, offline. There's a lot of things you can buy, but Bitcoin Cash truly is nothing more than a store of wealth at the moment. There's nothing, to my knowledge, that you can do with it, and we'll see if that changes. If they're able to have some people, adopt it, then maybe it can go somewhere. But until then, I think Bitcoin is still the king.
Hey, this is James Altucher. You're listening to the Bad Crypto Podcast. Stay bad.
On most episodes, we would have news here, but this is the holiday season, and we know you want to spend more time with your family, so we're going to shorten this up here a little bit because, you know what, we're going straight to dessert in this episode because we have such an amazing guest with us today. We have Naomi Brockwell, who is known as Bitcoin Girl, right?
And she is talented. She's smart. She's beautiful. Checks all the boxes. You guys are really going to enjoy this interview, and stick around because you're going to get to hear the Bitcoin Girl song as well. So let's go to the feature. Travis, I'm about to bust out into song. You know why?
I do know why.
because we got a crypto chick in the house, not just any crypto chick. It's the Bitcoin girl.
Oh,
well, this is
girl.
the Bad Crypto Podcast, and we have with us the one and only Bitcoin girl. Her name is Naomi Brockwell. She's a producer, director, and opera singer, and she's an Aussie. She comes from a land down under, and she is all about that crypto. Welcome to the Bad Crypto Podcast, Naomi.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here.
We're delighted to have you. So you're an Austrian economics evangelist. Wow.
Damn straight, yeah.
It's damn straight Skippy, just for, future reference.
I didn't know if you spoke Australian, so I didn't want to use too much lingo.
Oh, I put a shrimp on the barbie.
That's a knife, and we know that's a knife. We know that.
Let's start with this. We don't call them. Listen, but they're prawns. They're prawns. So shrimp on the barbie is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
It's the prawn on the barbie.
Whatever. That's not a knife. That's a knife.
Oh boy!
It's not a shrimp. That's a prawn.
You guys are ridiculous.
Is that a prawn, or are you just happy? Never mind. She also does other stuff. She is an associate producer at Fox Business Network, Fox News Channel.
Previously, the current producer for John Stossel.
Okay, you produce for John. Okay, great. So you contribute to Reason TV. You do other stuff too, and you're involved in a number of projects. And you are known in the crypto world because of the Bitcoin Girl video, which kind of launched things. Am I right? Is that how it all got started?
Sort of. So I actually started making videos about Bitcoin like 2012, and it was more interviews, people early on in the space. And then I made the video because I was already calling myself Bitcoin Girl. I called myself Bitcoin Girl because it wasn't taken. And I was like, all right, I'll be that. And now it's kind of like, much to my chagrin, has stuck. And so now I'll go to like professional conferences and things. And I'll be like, oh, well, I'm a serious television producer and serious film producer. And they'll be like, it's Bitcoin Girl. I'm like, oh, okay. All right.
Listen, at least you didn't invent the iFart app, so I'm carrying that one around with me everywhere I go.
That's a thing?
Yeah. Oh, it was a big thing.
That's your claim to fame.
Well, no, that's a claim to fame.
App. Well, all of the other claims to fame are equally on par with that, I'm guessing.
They're all very gaseous.
Yeah. Everything I do is explosive. Awkward silence. Okay, so you got started in Bitcoin in 2012. That's really early. So you must have scooped up some cheap.
I bought for the first time 2013, and I started off by trading futures in Bitcoin because my housemates were. And this is basically how it would work because they knew a lot about crypto. They set me up with an account, and so I'd be trading and stuff. And they would be in the upstairs room and I'd be downstairs and I'd say, oh my gosh, look at the price. It's just going up. This is awesome. I'm going to buy some more. And then I'd hear them say, well, time to sell. And then they sell. And then it'll be crashing and it'd get red. I couldn't see the end of it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is just crashing. It's going to go to, I'm selling. And then I'd hear, oh, time to buy. So it's fair to say I lost some money learning to trade futures in Bitcoin. I was not the best at it. And I also discovered for the first time what a margin call was when that happened. It's not good to learn on the job for that sort of thing. But there you go. That was my exposure to Bitcoin right at the start.
So that was a nice explosive beginning to your journey, it sounds.
It was. And I fell in love with Bitcoin not because they offered futures, obviously. I fell in love with it because of the philosophy underneath it. I love the idea of a decentralized currency. I love the idea that currency doesn't have to be inflationary, that you don't have to lose 2% of your savings a year, that you don't have to get permission from a bank or a government to spend your money where you want. You want to give to WikiLeaks, it's fine. You send them some Bitcoin. I just love that idea of empowerment that comes along with this decentralized ethos. And that just threw me right into the crypto scene. So
preach it, Bitcoin girl. Preach it, girl.
We like to call it magical internet money or magical
internet money.
You guys are so musical. There's been so much singing on this show.
So the video, what inspired the now world famous video that forever typecast you as Bitcoin Girl?
Billy Joel, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't he inspire all of us? So it just seemed like something that needed to be made. And so I actually was working for a film organization at the time, and I went out and I filmed this video, and they put it on their website, and it just kind of grew from there. And then I did a bunch of things. Like I've done a bunch of Taylor Swift covers as well, because I feel like Taylor really never addressed that niche market of people who like cryptocurrency and cryptography and like her music, which I'm sure is a huge overlap consisting of me and possibly one other person. And so I thought, well, I'll make videos addressing those two people in the market. And that's where we are with that.
Yeah, you did a parody of her "Everything Has Changed" song.
I did that, yeah, and I did "Look What You Made Me Do." So it's like the idea of, "Honey, I rose up from the dead. I do it all the time." Because like everyone say, "Oh, Bitcoin's dead again." Oh, R.I.P. Bitcoin. Krugman's like, "Oh, Bitcoin, it was never a thing. It's dead." Lower, and it's like, what is it right now? $8,000. It's so it just kind of seemed like it would fit, and it meant that I got to dress up in cool costumes and dance. So that's always fun as well.
Well, let's get your facts straight. It's $8,263 right now.
Right. No. It's $10,000 in Australia.
That's right. But I mean, why are we judging it by dirty fiat? It is what it is.
That is so true. Yeah, I actually just read a book. I flew back from London yesterday, and I read this book called The Everything Bubble. And it was talking about how fiat currency in the whole Federal Reserve banking system and how inflationary that it's been. And when they took it off the gold standard, and it basically was talking about all of where we are now, and then how they've now put all the treasury notes and the bonds and the bills all in this one big, huge asset bubble, along with the housing bubble and the stock market bubble. And eventually they're going to get to the point where it's like, oh, it's going to be teetering. It's on the verge of bursting. And then they're going to end up going down to negative interest rates.
Like Japan. Right? Oh, God.
Kind of like Japan has done, how Cyprus had done, and some of these other countries have done. And then once that happens, it's going to cost you money to keep your money in the bank. It's like an
Who's going to do that? I mean, they don't even keep your money safe. Like they don't keep your money safe. They don't keep your information safe. And yet we're going to pay for that privilege for them to leak out personal information as JP Morgan gets hacked once again. People are just going to be flocking to cryptocurrency at that stage because people aren't going to pay for this crummy service. Either that or the banks are going to have to lift their game. So either way, it's going to be a win-win situation now that we have choices in the market. We have alternative currencies. It's only a good thing.
Speaking of JP Morgan, we covered a story recently that their Swiss branch had just been found guilty of money laundering. Who knew?
Oh, gosh, JP Morgan.
Okay, so you are actually, in all the episodes we've done, we've been at this 4 months with many, many episodes already. Recently celebrated our 50th official episode, although we've done more than that because we can't count because we're bad. But you're the first crypto chick. Why is there such a shortage of women in this space?
I like it. But then again, I'm kind of weird. So, there are lots of crypto chicks in the space. I think you guys haven't been trying hard enough. Like, you look at any industry, there's always going to be a skew. My background was in classical music and acting, and there was a huge skew of women. There weren't as many men in that. Acting, opera.
A thespian, master thespian.
It makes sense that people are interested in different things. More women were interested in opera. More men seem to be interested in cryptography and crypto. That doesn't mean that it has to be that way. And I know there are lots of people who are trying to get more women involved and sort of figuring out, like, what are they interested in? And of course, you can't stereotype all women either. Some of my closest friends, they're involved in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, and they're doing amazing things. So it really just, it's, I think to get mainstream adoption from women, maybe you just have to figure out how to reach out to them and what things are they interested in and what can Bitcoin offer them.
Yeah, we hit our audience, and we're actually looking at the data. And I did some deep analysis on anyone who has used any hashtag on Twitter around anything around cryptocurrency. And it's 84% dudes, 16% women, which
Right.
it's a huge skew. And then when you look at, overall, women are a huge financial force. They're the ones who make a lot of the big financial decisions within many households, right? And so
Right.
there's got to be that hook. There's got to be some hook that gets the ladies interested in the crypto. Maybe it's when Coach starts accepting Bitcoin or something, or like Gucci.
Well, I mean, there's so many awesome projects going on that are trying to help lots of people. And women, I mean, I don't mean to generalize, but they tend to be more empathetic than men. So maybe it's those social applications of blockchain that are really going to draw women into mainstream interest into blockchain and Bitcoin.
Where do you think we are in the timeline? I built my first website 22 years ago. It was 1995, and when that happened, it was pioneering. It was, the web technology had actually existed in some form for 15 years, but 2 years earlier we got our first, graphical browser, and so I was still there at the beginning. So compared to that, where do you think we are with Bitcoin and crypto?
It's a good question. I think that the thing about Bitcoin and the reason why it first became popular is because it's decentralized. And that was the main benefit of it. So if you have something that's decentralized, it means that you have to take care of your security of your coins. You have to take care of sending it from your wallet, which you hold the keys to. Like it's a cumbersome process, but you're paying for it in manpower. You're paying for the ability to have financial autonomy. Now, Bitcoin now is becoming more mainstream. And so you have all of these third-party platforms coming up. You have institutions like Coinbase that sort of operate like a bank. They hold your keys, they hold your money, and we've entered back into this kind of permission system rather than the permissionless system we had prior. So I think that it's been slow to develop applications that are easy for most people to use because people wanted the decentralized nature of it. They wanted, they didn't want third parties to come in and make it easier because then third parties would provide a focal point for governments to shut this down, etc. But now that's changing, and you see a lot of applications, third-party applications that are trying to make things easier, trying to make it like as easy as sending an email where you just click and you hear the whoosh sound and it's very easy. Prior to that sort of email application, people didn't know how to send emails. It was cumbersome. It was clunky. You only had intellectual tech geeks who could figure it out. And that's sort of where we are now. We've got very smart people who understand how this works. We have companies who are trying to encourage mainstream adoption and create platforms to make it easier for everyone. You have seen some resistance to making it easier because a lot of people don't want to use these third-party platforms. But then there's a whole new market out there that hasn't yet been exploited that want these third-party applications. They want to get involved with Bitcoin. And so I think we're right at the beginning. We're right at the beginning of seeing it just completely blossom because there's an entire untapped market out there.
I'm curious about the Australian market because actually Australia is the second largest country of bad crypto listeners, right? So the United States, we have the most. Second is Australia. So they love the bad crypto. I think it's Joel's deep voice and dulcet tones.
That's it. That's probably it.
They resonate
That
with. So
must be it.
what is the status of crypto there in Australia? What are some of the things that you're seeing? What are the trends? And then we also had Power Ledger, which is one of the top Australian cryptocurrencies that just recently came out. We had them on the show, and now they're tearing up. So what's kind of the state of the union out there in Australia, mate?
Your guess is as good as mine. I've lived in New York for 7 years now. And so when I go home, I do chat to people and try to figure out the scene. In January, I visited Mancal, which is an economic education foundation that I'm on the advisory board of. I did some interviews there, chatted to people about what's the scene like. I mean, it seems like there aren't that many crypto-based startups. The startups that do exist don't seem to be involved in cryptocurrency. They seem to be involved in blockchain technology and sort of applying blockchain to energy or other things. I really do think that Australia is, I mean, again, there's a huge untapped market there as well because it hasn't really taken off yet. But one thing is interesting. So, I've been talking about this since about 2012, and for however many years that is, people back home have been like, Naomi, what is she doing over in New York? She's so weird. She's talking about these crazy things. But, I'll chat to my grandmother and she'll be like, what are you doing over there? And I'll be like, oh, well, I went to this Bitcoin conference. She's like, what? Coin? What are you talking about? And she doesn't really speak like that. She's actually very eloquent, but it gets the message across. And anyway, in the last year, every time I call home to talk to her, she's 90, she's 92, keep in mind. And now when I call her, she's like, oh, Naomi, so actually on the news the other night, they had another thing about Bitcoin. Did you know the price is really going up right now? And China, the adoption in China is just incredible. People there really like it. And she's keeping me updated with Bitcoin now.
Very nice. Maybe you should set up Bitcoin Granny.
Exactly. So now that my 92-year-old grandmother in Australia is taking an interest and talking to me about it when I call home, I think that that's a sign that people are really starting to notice it now in Australia.
You've arrived. You know that you've arrived. By the way, Travis, looking at Power Ledger as of this recording has hit 70 cents and continues to moon. So pretty exciting for the friends in Australia. Really successful ICO, putting peer-to-peer power on the grid there. Will be fun to watch that. So, Naomi, what are you personally most excited about right now? Because there's a lot happening in the blockchain space, but is it a personal project you're working on? Is it an ICO you're involved in, or a technology that just is making all of your synapses fire?
Gosh, there's so many things I'm excited about. The first thing that comes to mind is the Hard Fork series. So a little while ago, about just over a year ago, I signed up for Steemit, and it was this new platform, and people kind of sold it as like, oh, it's Reddit, but you earn money if people upvote you. And I thought, okay, this is interesting. So I signed up a year ago, didn't do anything with my account. And then a couple of months ago, I started a Patreon account for my web show that I do, which is about Bitcoin and other tech. And I posted on Twitter, I was like, so I'm doing this Patreon thing. I'm thinking of exploring it. What are your thoughts? And all these people responded were like, actually use Steemit. It's like Patreon 10.0. And I was like, oh, that's right. I have a Steemit account, happening there somewhere. So I got back in there and I've been using Steemit, and it's been amazing. Like, it's been really amazing. As soon as you introduce incentive structures into people's online behavior, it's dramatic how much it changes. And the fact that I can put up posts that actually earn me money is absolutely amazing, And one of the projects I discovered on Steemit, I was just, hunting around, reading people's content. And there was this Hard Fork series. They were billing it as a crypto noir thriller, and I was like, that is a fascinating name, and awesome as well. Crypto noir thriller, doesn't that sound awesome? And so I was like, what is this? And I want to be involved. And so I wrote to them, and they said, oh, funny that you would write to us. We're actually just about to reach out to you to get you involved. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. So it's like film production and crypto combined. So obviously I was going to get involved with this. And so I've been working on that recently, and the director is awesome. The cast is really cool. So we've just been doing some pre-production for like getting trailers and things going, put together a really cool trailer. At the moment, the director, Doug Carr, is awesome with all of his CG. And the actors, like we've got Christopher James Baker, who was just in Ozark. We've got it's people who've just come off Billions and just come off Madam Secretary, and like really, really great people on this project.
Ooh.
So I'm a producer on it, and I'm an actor in it. We've shot some scenes. One of my scenes was very fun. I'm kind of like this hologram character in this world where you have this totalitarian regime that has implemented a cryptocurrency that is basically worthless, the Liberty Dollar. Doesn't that sound familiar? Mm-hmm. And it's sort of like a warning of what happens when you make the government anonymous and there's no longer accountability, and suddenly you have this decentralized faction rising up to take back power. And that's what this series is about, and it explores blockchain, it explores cryptocurrency. It's going to be huge. And
is it going to be on like Netflix, or is it going to be
that's the plan? Yeah.
Okay, so a series, not just a movie.
Exactly. It's a series, and it's been really fun to work on so far. So I'm excited about that. That's going to be a pretty big project for next year.
That's going to be something right there. If that gets on a channel like Netflix, that's going to be another thing that can just help the masses really understand what's going on with this whole crypto magical internet money thing.
Yeah. Magical internet money. Yeah, and so you should have Doug Carr, the director, on to chat about it, because it really is exciting. You know, I feel like I haven't done it justice talking about it, because it's just a really cool project.
When's it going to come out?
Well, at the moment, I mean, the aim is to go into production next year. Obviously, these things are unpredictable sometimes with film production, but that is the plan currently, and we've already made tremendous strides in getting that to happen. So it seems like next year you'll see something come out.
Media is a great way to move awareness into the mainstream. And of course, later this month, for those that are hearing prior to November 30th, that horrible sitcom Big Bang Theory is doing an episode that's allegedly all around Bitcoin. So I might have to hold my nose and watch that thing just to see how they manage it. But it is going to expose the idea of Bitcoin to a lot of people.
Well, also, it's interesting. I mean, the idea of getting this series out is to claim the narrative to start off with, because you are going to get a lot of disinformation. That's what's happened as soon as Bitcoin was a thing. You know, what did the media say? They said that it was filled with criminals and drug dens and money launderers, and there was nothing good about it, and it's going to die. And where are we now? We see it changing people's lives in Venezuela. We see it changing people's lives in places where, you know, they can't get access to bank accounts. And to see the mainstream media in the film industry start to take on fictional works about Bitcoin, it'll be interesting to see which direction the narrative goes. Are they going to stick to what they started off saying, like, this is an awful thing? Are they going to realize, no, this is a game changer? And so the idea of the Hard Fork series is to kind of claim that narrative and get something out there that's like, this is what it actually is. You know, this is important.
Mm-hmm.
And so that, it's going to be good.
That's great. I'm so grateful for the drug dealers, though, because they adopted it. And if they hadn't adopted it, somebody needed to adopt it as currency. So then now it's sort of taken off, and it's it morphed into this own magical thing that we are dealing with today. And it's a fun space for sure.
For sure. And I'm all for people being able to spend their money however they want to spend it. You know, just don't hurt people, don't take their stuff, and leave people alone. Let them do what they want. So
leave me alone.
Freedom.
Here comes the Braveheart reference.
That's right. Sorry. Freedom. I can't do the accent, but you get the message.
So I see your guitar sitting back there.
Yeah.
I would love if you would regale us with a little of something.
A little magical internet money song.
A little.
Sing us magical internet money.
Magical internet money.
You know it's not funny.
No, it's not funny. Yeah, don't get me to play the guitar, because I'll just end up strumming over the top of whatever we're talking about, because I kind of get fidgety and addicted to playing. So.
Well, if you ever, if you listen to the show and decide, you know what, I actually kind of like this and feel like writing us a song, our feelings wouldn't be hurt.
Yeah, right. You're a Bad Crypto podcast.
Yep.
Song.
Yeah, a Bitcoin Girl, Bad Crypto, little ditty would just warm the cockles of.
We're not good. It's not good. It's the Bad Crypto podcast.
Sorry. Yeah.
We're doing our best, you guys.
And it'll be a Bad Crypto podcast song as well.
Yeah. It's not good. It's okay, though.
Not good.
The one, the only Naomi Brockwell, Bitcoin Girl, bitcoingirl.org, BTG, right? Because that would be it. BTG, Bitcoin Girl.
BCG.
Well, I think I use BTC Girl because that's Bitcoin.
Yeah.
We're glad
Very
that
nice.
you came on.
Or the YouTube is youtube.com/Naomi Brockwell TV.
Naomi Brockwell doing awesome stuff, man. So thank you so much for coming on the show. We really, really appreciate it. We may have to have you on again when your show goes live.
Sounds wonderful. I look forward to it.
Wasn't she just a delight to speak with?
You know what? I think she's my new favorite person. She's actually really hilarious and engaging. And so, you know what? We need more of that in the space. I mean, we've done deep analysis on, crypto comments and conversations on Twitter, and it's 86% dudes. And so we need more women in blockchain. And I think there's becoming more of a movement around that. And that is so great to see. So we want to start interviewing some more women in blockchain and chatting about that space. But that was just a phenomenal interview with Naomi.
We do like to call them crypto chicks, though. And all y'all that are the crypto chicks of Bad Cryptopia, we love to hear from you. And as promised, we're now going to play the Bitcoin Girl song, which, of course, is a spoof on Billy Joel's Uptown Girl. And we're going to close the show with that and just tell you right now to stay bad. The Bad Crypto Podcast is a production of Bad Crypto LLC. The content of the show, the videos, and the website is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. It's not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice of any kind. You shouldn't make any decisions as to finances, investing, trading, or anything else based on this information without undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional financial advisor. Please understand that the trading of Bitcoins and alternative cryptocurrencies have potential risks involved. Anyone wishing to invest in any of the currencies or tokens mentioned on this podcast should first seek their own independent professional financial advisor.